So everything I say in this video allegedly happened. Alright? So at the end of your basic military training or BMT, you have something called a passing out parade or POP. Long story short, is a lot of the companies coming together and then performing marches and stuff like that for family members who have come to see it all. It's basically a graduation. So a day before that, we have finished our training. Someone from my unit had walked by the toilet and heard other people in our platoon talk. Alright, and it was these Abings. The Abings are basically Singapore street thugs. That doesn't mean they're in a gang, but they act like it. So he was walking by them and then he heard them talk about tradition that before the passing out parade, that people would do pranks on each other. Like, shaving cream and water balloons and all kinds of things. Annoying, but not dangerous stuff. So, and then Henry comes back and he tells our unit about it. It's like, do we want to do something about this or do we just let it happen? We all agree that we don't want to participate and we really don't want shaving cream on our beds and everything like that and our face. So we close the doors at night to sleep and we put a broom through it. Now it's these long bars for the door, metal bars, and then we just put a broom through it, but it's not super tight. So the door will have a lot of give, but no one could get in. Alright? So we go to sleep, we don't think about it. Middle of the night, obviously, as I'm telling this story, the door starts shaking violently, like gang, 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 gang. And then all of us are awake by this, obviously. We just sit out on our bed, just watching this happen, and it keeps shaking more and more violently. And then when it stops, we think, oh, okay, they gave up. End of story, right? So we're just watching, and then suddenly, we hear, boom! And then the doors fly, and then the broom stops it from opening, like, and then slowly swings back. And boom, this guy keeps kicking the door again and again and again. And he kicks it so hard at one point, the broom snaps. It flies across the room. The doors fly fully open. This guy steps in this tall, lanky Chinese guy. And he just shouts, Paila! And then all of us were just staring at him and I really thought like, oh my God, this guy is just going to beat everyone. And we stare at him. And he looks at us and I think he knows he went too far. Especially with the broom. And he just looks at us, huffing and puffing, turns around and walks away. And when he walks away, we see his entire posse behind him. And then they're looking at us and we're like, and they walk away. Now after they walk away, we all gather and we go like, look, that guy was really angry. I think he might be coming back. So what do you want to do? So we kind of agreed that it's better not to piss him off again because he really might be angry enough to hit someone. So what we do is we close the door and we put a unused nightstand in front of the door. Basically, if they come back, let them do what they want to do, but at least we get early warning system. So we do that. Later in the night, we hear commotion, but it's not what you think. The commotion is coming from the end. I can't remember it's at this end or this end, but it's not near our unit. Now we think this is a trick to get us to open the door. So we tell the guy near the window, like, hey, you peek your head out and then you try to see. Right? He's like, they're definitely not outside our unit. Then he's like, yeah, but we keep hearing all this commotion. Alright? And we don't dare to open the door because we think it's a trick. And then we hear the guard duty personnel basically upstairs. And these are people who are like the corporals and sergeants who train us. So this can't be part of a trick anymore. So we slowly open the door and we stick our head out. At the end unit where the Abengs are, alright, their lights are on and everything. The corporal sees us and he immediately shouts, get back in your unit! Close the door, don't come out! And we were like, whoa, this is serious. So we just go back, we close the door. Next day we find out what happened. What happened was they were still doing that tradition. I said they wanted to do it to this guy. Finally, I talked about this guy. This guy, I never interacted with him much. He's basically, it feels like he comes from an upper middle class or rich family, but he likes to hang out with the cool kids, which the Abengs are basically. But there was one problem. They didn't like him. He was like that lackey. Like in movies when the guy's like, fuck you, then there'll be someone in the back like, yeah, fuck. He's that guy. He's the lackey. So what happened? They would do things like go canteen. And then he would be like, I'm coming. And then they'd be like, whatever. In fact, he was often the butt of their jokes, which I don't understand why he likes hanging out with them. But he does. So they were going to do something to him, and then he kind of didn't want to. And the guy who kicked the door down, long story short, hits first, asked questions later, and he hit him. And basically it was one punch on his nose and he started bleeding. It wasn't that serious, but there was blood involved and violence. In the middle of the night, commanders and everything were called down, and they also had to separate the two people. So the guy who got punched, he got moved to sleep in the office downstairs, and they locked the doors on the unit where that guy was in so that he couldn't run away, obviously. Not that he could run away anywhere since it was an island, but they had to, just in case. So again, allegedly, what happened was everybody came down, discussed, and long story short, the medical issue wasn't that bad. It was just a bloodied nose. But the important thing is that if they reported it up chain of command, everybody kind of agreed that both of them, hours before they leave the island forever, they would have to go probably to military prison because, again, physical violence. So everybody agreed to just let it go. All right? Oh, but the passing out parade, the guy who got punched, don't go. Keep the two of them separate as much as possible. So that's what happened. And then during the passing out parade, it was basically only 4 people left in the whole company, the whole building, that didn't have to attend. I was one of them. So we just sitting down there, and most of us didn't really talk much to each other. So it's very silent. You know, we basically just were flipping through girly magazines we stuck in. You know, we're watching it, reading it. And then this guy comes over and sits at the table and starts talking to me. And remember, I never interacted with this guy much, all right? Because I wasn't cool enough for him. And he goes like, you know what? I never really got along with those guys. I feel intellectually I'm on par with you guys. I should have hung out with you guys more. And I was just like, what the fuck? You're doing this now just because you lost your group of friends? But it's fine. So he keeps going on. I bring this up for a simple reason. He starts boasting. All right. Now, there has been this rumor that he is the white horse in our company. Now, white horse in Singapore Army means that you're someone's son who is important in the country, meaning that preferential treatment is given to people in that company. But it feels like he is the one that spread that rumor. All right. Now, I can't be sure. Maybe it's the case. Now, in terms of white horse, I do think it happens in the Singapore Army. But I don't think it's as bad as people say in terms of that corrupt kind of like everybody gets ice cream every meal and stuff like that. I think it's more like a human nature thing where, you know, if someone important son is in your company, if you're the commander, either you treat the group totally fair or you treat them a bit better. Because if it gets back to that minister, you could get in trouble career-wise. I think that's what happens. But with this one, I don't think that's the case. I think the more likely thing was the other rumor we heard, which was our commander of our company. This was the first time he had to deal with soldiers who were not medically fit, meaning that he never really knew what to do with us. You know, basically he wanted to go march, he had to ask first, like, which of you cannot march? Want to go shoot? Which of you cannot shoot? So that was probably why. So that is my BMT stories. Next time I'll talk about my overall feelings of BMT and some fun-hearted stories and my lessons I got from those. You don't hear that? Come back next time. Till next word.